welcome back to Simple Art for Adults. Today we're going to do something a little different. First of all, I have a new product that I'm going to review for you, which is the Lyra Rembrandt Polycolor line of colored pencils that I just got in the mail today. We're also going to go back and we're going to talk about swatching. We're actually going to put these to the test. I've got a little sheet that I just made up really quick just for the things that are most important to me in colored pencils. So these are all the things that we're going to talk about today. All of this started with this little guy right here. This is called the Dritz Rainbow Color Wheel, or it's a pick, point, and match rainbow color selector. Now this thing is probably the coolest thing ever. If you're having a hard time trying to choose what colors you want to put in, a picture that you're coloring or something that you're drawing, this will save your life. I spent several hours the other day making this. And this is a swatch ring that has every single Prismacolor Premiere pencil that I own on it. I actually need a bigger ring. I thought this one was going to be big enough, but it turns out that it's not. So basically, here's how this color wheel works. Let's say that I want my main color in my image to be, let me pick one that I actually really like. Let's do, all right, let's do this light cerulean blue, right? I can move everything else out of my way. Okay, so we have this light cerulean blue, and this is going to be the color that I want in my image the most. This is going to be like my main color. So I'm going to take this rainbow color selector, and I'm going to put it over here at the darkest part of that blue, and I'm going to look and match it. Now if you can see close enough, I'll see if I can hold it up here for you. There are numbers along the square. It's a little blurry. There's numbers 1 through 6, actually 1 through 7. So you look at these little individual colors around there and you match your blue to the one that's on there, and I'm going to say this is most closely going to match that number 3, which is this square right here. So at this point I'm going to choose one of the color schemes that it gives you, and this actually comes with a little brochure that will show you what they all are, and they have like the little shapes here in the middle. So if I wanted to do, let's say, an analogous color scheme, which is all 3 in a row, all 3 sections of the wheel in a row. Well, I know that it's going to be number 3 for this one, so I'm going to match it to number 3 for this color, which is like a bluish green, and number 3 for this color, which is a bluish purple. So I would go through my swatch chart, and I would also find a color that matches this number 3 and a color that matches this number 3, and then I would have my 3 main colors. And of course, you can choose all the different colors in this family if you wanted to. You can use different values of those colors. You can use different saturations. You can use grays and blacks, of course, which are always considered neutral. Some colors you may be able to add browns in without causing much issue. So I've decided that from this point forward, I'm actually going to spend more time swatching my colors. So I have, the Prismacolors are the only ones that I've done like this so far because they're the ones that I'm going to use the most. I do, however, have, sorry, I turned my head for a moment. I do, however, have all of the other colored pencils that I use quite frequently in this little book. So this is my color swatch book. Of course, you can see that. And here we have the Prismacolor Premiere. Now, if you're wondering where I got all these little sheets, these are actually downloadable from coloringpagesbliss.com. Jennifer Stay and her husband Steve run that website and Facebook community, YouTube channel. It's a really cool place to get a bunch of really good information. There's also coloring pages and color charts. So that's where I downloaded all of these. So this is the first page of my Prismacolor, and the second page of my Prismacolor is on the back up here. I'm out of room, guys, so I can't show you. And then we have the Marco Renoir that I love, and the second page of those are back here. And we have the Marco Raffine 72 set, which I will get around to talking more about at a later date, and the rest of those. And then we have my Colori colored pencils that I got not too awful long ago. Need to do a little review on those as well. those are the swatches for that. These are my Royal and Langnickel watercolor pencils that I purchased on a whim through Amazon. I got them for like, I don't know, they're like $4 or something for the set of 10. I like these. I'm really excited to learn how to do more with watercolor pencils. I found that these were really fun to play with, so we're going to get into that a little bit more eventually. But yeah, so my goal is I'm going to do these, I'm going to do the new pencils on my new sheet that I have and put it in here. So the pencils that we're going to take a look at today are called the Lyra Rembrandt Polycolor, and I'm really sorry for that enormous reflection. There's not a whole lot I can do. My window's a little blocked right now. So this is what the pencils look like. They're really, they're wood. They remind me sort of like the Renoirs. So, sorry, I'm having to reply to an email right in the middle of doing this. How horrible is that? There are 36 in the set. It runs from white to black, and the 36th pencil is actually this cool little guy that I'm excited to try. I can get it out of there because I don't have any nails. It's called the Lyra Splender Blender. So it's going to be just like the Prismacolor Colorless Blender, only this one's called the Splendor Blender. Now, I'm not sure how well this is going to work. I'm going to try to get it into focus. Unlike the Prismacolor, this one isn't exactly colorless. It kind of looks like a tan color. And that kind of bothers me, because I'm hoping that that's not really going to cause an issue and discolor my picture. But we're going to find out, because we're going to put these to the test shortly. When they arrived in the mail, I had a couple where the tips were broken off, so obviously they've been bounced around a little bit in transit. Not too terribly bad or anything, not to the point that I'm concerned about the cores being snapped. Compared to the other color pencils that I have, the cores on these are massive. It's a 4mm core, which means that the majority of the inside of this pencil is the core of the pencil. These are oil-based, and they're, from what I understand, they're quite soft. So they're going to behave more like the Marco Renoir than they are the Prismacolors, because the Prismacolors are wax and they can leave a bloom on the paper. So that's definitely something that we don't want to happen. These are also supposed to be quite color fast. That's according to Lyra's own standards, though. I have yet to find an actual artist to review these or to put them to the light fast test and say, oh, you know, these will last for 75 years. But they are supposed to be, this is an older box. The newer ones are going to have like an information pamphlet or something inside of it that will show you. I haven't looked under here, so let me go ahead and, yes, no, there's nothing under here whatsoever. It's quite noisy. It's a very flimsy tray, but since it's only one level, I don't have any desire to take it out. Nothing on the bottom. Just a second, let me grab the... This is the cardboard that it came wrapped in. And right here it does say light resistant, and because of the shine, you're probably not going to be able to see it. Fine art, break resistant, 36 pieces, 4mm light resistant. Ah, it does. Now on the back, it's got a list of all the colors in this particular set. Extremely good light fastness is 3 stars. Good light fastness is 2 stars. Light fastness satisfying is 1 star. Now I'm not quite sure what that means. It doesn't say how long they'll last. Who is it satisfying to? Who is it? It says Art and Creative Materials Institute certified. Maybe that's something I can look up as far as light fastness of these pencils go. Looks like the majority of these all have 3 stars when it comes to light fastness. There are 2 of them that get 2 stars, which is still good, and that's the light orange and the blue violet. And the raw umber. So there are 3 that are good, and then the rest, 4. No, 3. The 3 have good light fastness, and the rest have extremely good light fastness. Now, the reason I bought these is because I like my oil-based pencils. I like my Marco Renoir pencils. As a matter of fact, I really like them a lot. The unfortunate thing is like most people, colorists, artists alike, I also like certain colors more than I like others. That means I'm going to use some pencils up faster than I'm going to use up some other pencils. So, I checked to see if these are available open stock. Lo and behold, they are. They're available not through Jerry's Artorama, not that I could find. I may send them an email and ask if that's something they're going to consider at some point. They are available through Dig Blick. They're in between the price of a Prismacolor Premiere and a Faber-Castell Polychromos. I ordered some pinks and purples because there are no pinks and purples in this set, which is rather disappointing. So I've got some pinks and purples on the way to supplement this set. I also have a case coming to keep them in because obviously there's no more room in here. So today what we're going to do, and I'm going to show you how I swatch in a little bit because I have this really cool Statler stencil that I bought at Office Depot just for that purpose. And I'll show you this in a little bit. But today what we're going to do is we are going to do this. There are a few things that matter most to me when it comes to colored pencils. And that's the brightness of the colors, so that's why we have the color samples up here. The erasability, and I'm going to have to dig out my Ohuhu eraser, my battery-powered eraser that I just purchased and love. We're going to layer the blue and yellow together because those two colors are the easiest to layer to see if we're going to get a pretty green. And then we're also going to blend. We're going to use a few different methods to blend, and you guys are going to have to bear with me because I'm trying to make this video relatively quick, and I didn't get all my stuff out before I started. So, alright. So we're going to put review of Lyra Rembrandt Polycolor. I'll put 36 cent. First thing I don't like is there's no pinks and purples. That does not make me happy. Purple is my favorite color, and there are no pinks and purples in here. Alright, so we're going to pick some colors to just sample out and see what they look like. I'm trying to pick the one that looks closest to red. Pale Geranium Lake, maybe. Alright, let's do this one. Dark Carmine. Just because it's dark, the end of the barrel is nice and red. So one would think that it would be nice and red. I'm not trying to be fancy. I'm not trying to be neat with this. I'm just trying to color onto the paper and see what it looks like. Now I am using the paper that I'm using for this, and the paper that I will use for all subsequent pencil reviews will be Neenah Exact 67-pound Vellum Bristol. This paper is good for colored pencils. Not so good for watercolors, and I do have mixed media paper for that. This paper is good for colored pencil. It's got a nice tooth to it. It really grabs a hold of the pencil and holds on to it. It's inexpensive. I think I paid less than $7 for this on Amazon. I do have an Amazon affiliate account set up where I can get links and things to these products that I use, and I will most definitely start putting those in the description. I probably will not get around to doing that today. Alright, so this is colored pencil number 26, Dark Carmine. And this is just normal coloring, not burnishing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a line down the middle, and I'm going to apply a little more pressure to this half. Now my desk is rough. I probably should have gotten my clipboard out because I've got texture under this paper. My clipboard's actually right over here. So let me grab that. There, that'll probably help. Now we got a smooth surface to work on instead of my rough textured desk. It's been beating all the crap. Alright. That's actually not bad. You can really tell a difference. That was like 2 or 3 layers of just normal coloring, and then that's burnishing that color in. I'm kind of impressed with that. We do have something close to purple. We have a blue violet, which is number 37. Blue violet number 37. It's got a bunch of 2s and 0s, but we'll just ignore that and say 37. So we'll try that. Like I said, I'm not trying to make this an artful masterpiece. Just want to get the color on the paper. Don't even really care if I stay in the lines too much. It's kind of purpley. I mean, it's the closest thing to purple in this box, which is sad. It makes me very sad. We've got like 3 different oranges in here and no purple. What in the world? I don't even understand what they were thinking with that. I want my purple. It's alright. Dick Blick will send me some soon. They'll be shipping soon. I should have them by, I think they said the 19th, so early next week. Once again, we're going to varnish this one side of the circle with the color so we can see how well it actually fills in the tooth of the paper. And honestly, with the burnishing, not too bad. Let's do a green. Let's go with this color called Viridian, because I really like greens. I like greens and browns a lot because I do a lot of flowers in nature, so greens and browns are some of the colors I use the most, and blues, light blues especially. If you look at my set of 150 Prismacolors right now, you'll see that the greens, browns, and blues are the ones that are going to need to be replaced the fastest. That's a really pretty green. I really do like that green. Alright, so let's draw our line down the center. And we'll burnish this one side. Once again, I'm not too concerned about visible pencil marks. This isn't something that I'm going to frame or show everybody. Oh, well, I guess I am kind of showing everybody, but you know what I mean. It's not like a work of art. It's just a test. Alright. That's a really pretty green. I really like that. It's one of my favorite greens I think I own. For the last one, we're going to do the Lira Black. I've heard good things about the Lira Black. I've heard that it's probably the blackest black. I'm not real sure it's going to get a whole lot better than the Prismacolor Black, to be completely honest with you, but because I think Prismacolor Blacks, even the black in their Scholar line is like dense and black. Now, it could just be my eyes, but this seems brownish to me. This doesn't really seem all that black. It seems brown. I don't know. It's just strange. Alright, so let's burnish in this other side over here. And then I have a way that we can check this to see if my eyes are playing tricks on me, or if this black just isn't as black as I want it to be. Alright, almost finished with the burnishing. Alright, that's pretty burnished. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my standard color wheel that I have, if I can get it without knocking everything off. And if you'll see right here on this color wheel, it's got different values of black. We've got grayscale over here, and then value 1 is 100% black. That means it is absolutely 100% black. So if I take this, I'll turn it around like this so I can see, and compare it, it's actually more of the value. It's actually, well, it's not value 1, that's for certain. And it's not value 2, it's darker than value 2. So it's in between there somewhere. It's not the blackest black I've ever seen, but it'll do because it's not value 2. It's not going to be like a Crayola black or something, so that's not too terrible. Okay. Next on the list is erasability. Now, once you've burnished in a colored pencil like I did on these sides, you can't erase it. It's just not going to happen. If you go lightly with your pencil, and we're talking single layer, maybe 2 layers, depending on how light your pressure is, then you may be able to erase it. So as you can see, I've done 1 light layer with the, let's see what this is, True Blue, number 48. And I'm going to take my trusty Hoo battery powered eraser. I absolutely love this thing. It's one of my favorite tools. And we're going to just run right through the middle. That's not bad at all. It didn't lift out all of the color, but it lifted out most of it, which is pretty impressive. So you could use your eraser to get highlights, or if you made like a small error and got outside the lines, you could probably use it to erase that. The next thing we want to try is some blending methods. So this is where we're going to get to try the Lyra Splender blender, the Gamsol, and just the pencil. I have 3 different blues, so we're going to try Actually, no. One of my favorite things to blend is like a bird's beak. So that's what we're going to blend. We're going to go with lemon, which is number 7, light orange, which is number 13, and vermilion, which is number 17. I told you there are 4 oranges in this set. There are 4 oranges because vermilion's kind of like a mix between an orange and a red. So we have orange yellow, we have light orange, we have dark orange, and we have vermilion, but we have no purple. I'm angry about this purple. I'm not happy. So to blend, here's how I do it. I know other people do it differently. I start with a very light layer across my whole area where I want to put color, where I want the blend to happen. So we're going to put yellow down first. Then our next lightest color, which is orange. We're going to do about 2/3 of the circle in orange with a very, very light layer. Very light touch. As you can see, I'm holding the pencil way back here and kind of using the side of the pencil rather than holding it down at the tip, because it makes it harder for me to put so much pressure on that pencil if I am holding it way back here. And then we're going to do the vermilion. Now this is way off of actual thirds, but it'll still serve our purpose here. Back to the yellow, or the lemon, I should say. We're going to go over that whole area. And back to the light orange. And we're going to go over this whole area. And then back to the dark. We're just going to go over the dark. And basically, I just keep doing this. I keep doing the same process over and over. And when I get to the point where it feels like my pencil's getting slippery and my paper's just about to the point where it's just not going to take any more pigment, that's when I'll either burnish it if I'm doing just pencils, or I will get my Colorless Blender, or I will use my, well, I don't always wait until my paper's maxed out for solvent. I can't say that. Okay, and then this last bit of the vermilion. Now, if I was going to sit here and do light layers all day and try to get this to be a seamless blend, we would be here for hours. Legitimately hours. So we're not going to do that. We're not going to worry about getting a seamless blend. The point of this is that I can see that these pencils do provide a sufficient blend. I've got a nice gradient here. I've got a nice gradient from the yellow to the vermilion, and I didn't use anything other than just the pencils. And I can see all 3 colors clearly. I can see my lemon, I can see my light orange, and or my regular orange, yeah, light orange, and I can see my vermilion. So that's kind of the point. For the Colorless Blender, we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to kind of come over here and put a layer. Now I don't have to be as picky about this. I don't have to go quite as lightly because the Colorless Blender is going to help me out. I do need to use a lighter touch and kind of gradient this though. So lighter and then heavier and heavier, lighter and then heavier and heavier, because I don't want there to be a visible line between my colors. I don't want there to be like a pencil line there, like a noticeable line. One of the things I like to say, and the way that I like to explain it to people when it comes to blending and creating gradients, you want your colors, whichever colors you choose, you want them to have a romantic relationship. You want them to kiss and be romantic. You don't want your colors crashing into each other like cars on the freeway at 75 miles an hour, because that's just a mess. So the goal is to have a nice romantic blend of colors. You know, that's kind of corny, but trust me, it'll help you. It'll help you if you're new to this and you're blending for the first time. And remember, you don't want a car wreck, you want romance. I got a little lopsided with this one, I think, but it doesn't really make any difference. The secret to a colorless blender, whether you're going to use this Lyra Splendor blender, the Prismacolor Colorless Blender, I forget what all other companies make them. Derwent makes a colorless blender pencil. The secret to this is to make sure that you have lots of layers first, because your colorless blender isn't going to do anything for you if you do not have enough layers of pigment down on your paper before you start. All right, so this one you can see some of the lines between the colors. You can see where the color, it's not quite a car wreck, it's more like a fender bender. So at this point, let me put all these back. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get out the Splendor blender, and using a medium pressure, we're not going to burnish, using a medium pressure, we're going to go back over this whole entire area. And we're going to see whether some of those white spots in the paper where the pencil didn't quite get down in the tooth, we're going to see if we can fill some of those in at the same time. You may have to go over it a few times before you really get your colors to blend. Well, to be honest with you guys, not really impressed with the Splendor blender. There's still quite a visible line between my orange and my yellow there, my light orange and my lemon. And that may just be me, so we're going to go in here, we're going to feather in just a little bit more orange, just a little bit, to try to hide some of that line. We'll go back over it with the Splendor blender again. I can still see it. I still see it more than this one. However, the Splendor blender did push the colors down into that tooth quite nicely. Just as a test, let's try it over here on this one too. Let's see what happens. Now, I didn't put quite as many layers on this one, to be honest with you. It's got fewer layers of pigment because I wasn't going to take any kind of blender tool or anything to this. But since you've already seen it, and I've already shown that these pencils do in fact blend quite nicely, this pencil is good for getting your pigment down into the actual tooth of the paper. That's where this pencil is going to excel. It is not going to blend your colors for you. You are still going to need to be the artist, and you're going to need to use skill to blend. You're just going to need to use your knowledge to get those colors blended together, because this isn't going to help you do it. I'm not sure if a Prismacolor colorless blender would do a better job at actually moving the pigments around. It may also just be because of the type of pigment. Remember, this is not a Prismacolor pencil. This is an oil-based pencil. So there's not wax floating up on top of the paper like with a Prismacolor, and then you take that blender to it and you just kind of push that wax around. These pencils don't work like that. Alright, last one, we are going to do this with a solvent. So I'm going to color one more circle in these colors. Now, supposedly with solvents, because solvents like Gamsol and the Mona Lisa thinners and the other brands of odorless mineral spirits are meant to be used with oil-based products, namely acrylic. acrylics and oil pastel, or not acrylic, oil-based paint and oil pastels. That's the type of artist to whom this product is marketed, and it even says on some of them for oil-based media. Well, Lyra Rembrandts are an oil-based media, so we should get some pretty fantabulous results. Or I would think we would get some pretty fantabulous results with our, when we take our Gamsol to it. Okay, that's enough. Well, now let's do a little bit more of the dark vermilion on this side because it didn't get very dark. Okay. Now then, we will take a, let's see if I can find a kind of stiff brush here somewhere. This one will work. All right, I have a stiff brush. For the life of me, I can't remember the word for these bristles. If you guys can remember the word for the white bristles, please tell me in the comments, because for whatever reason, it's just completely slipping my mind. I'm going to grab a paper towel. Is it acrylic? Are they acrylic bristles? Because I know some of them are natural fibers, and I think the others are acrylic when they're white. Or they may just be cheap plastic. I picked these up at Joann Crafts for like $5 for a set of 20 of them. Alright, so we're going to take our Gamsol here. And Gamsol, as you know, is just a brand of mineral spirits. So we're going to take our Gamsol. Let's set that over here. We're going to dip the brush in. Let me show you how I do this. I dip the brush in, and then I take the extra on the side of the bottle. Typically, I wouldn't be using this directly out of the bottle at all, but just for this, because it's going to be so quick. And then we just take the brush to the paper. Now, the thing with Gamsol and mineral spirits is you're going to notice it's going to tinge your paper, kind of like a gray color. And that's just because the paper is absorbing the petroleum products and the liquid. And when it's saturated like that, it does turn a gray color, even the bright white paper. That will go away when it dries. And you'll be left with nothing but the pigment you started with. So another thing is that Gamsol, Mona Lisa, the other inexpensive brands are great brush cleaners as well. So at the end of the day, when you're finished with your tools, with your brushes, well, I just dip mine back in the bottle. I didn't swish it around because you can kind of make your Gamsol turn colors. And that's it. It's clean. It's all gone. All that pigment's gone. So that will dry. When we won't be able to see the final result until that dries. It is looking wonderful, though. It looks like it really, really blended those colors very, very nicely. But like I said, we'll need to wait until it's completely dry. Yeah, see, it's even gray on the... I did use a Bic Market for this, and it bled right through my Vellum Bristol, and you can see that. But see how the back of this is like a gray? That's not the permanent marker. That's the Gamsol. It still hasn't dried completely. So we'll come back to that. The last thing I wanted to do with you guys, let me put this brush back and the Gamsol away, is do a layering test, just with blue and yellow. You'll see in a lot of reviews that people use the blue and yellow for their layering tests because it's easy and they're light colors and you can see very quickly whether or not you're going to get the color that you're wanting. So I think we're going to use the lemon and the light cobalt because that's the more familiar blue. It's like if you took a blue out of a box of Crayolas, is what the light cobalt is in the Lyra Rembrandt Polycolors. Alright, so we have our little box here filled in with yellow. Now we're going to layer it with our light cobalt. We are going to see what happens. We may have to do more than just a couple layers, guys, for these colors to really start mixing together. And what we should eventually see in this box is a green, because we're mixing blue and yellow. And that's what happens when you mix blue and yellow. not really green yet. It would appear that the blue just kind of rested on the top of that yellow, and it didn't really mix with it too well. So we're gonna go back with the yellow. Still not green. We're still just looking kind of like a dirty mustard color. And back with the cobalt. Now we're starting to get a little bit of green in there. We've got the tooth of the paper starting to get a little full. So instead of the pigment moving around each other to find an empty space in the tooth of the paper, it's mixing in with whatever pigment is already there because it doesn't really have any choice. There's nowhere else for the new pigment to run and hide. So it's just kind of hanging out with another pigment. It's kind of green. It's kind of greenish. It's not the best green I've ever seen, to be completely honest with you. I've seen pencils do better. It's kind of green. So we can try this Prismacolor Colorless Blender marker on a little bit of this and see if that blends it in any, makes it green. Made it kind of dirty. When you use a Colorless Blender alcohol marker, which is basically what this is, make sure that you always clean the tip after every single use, and it may get stained, but you just want to rub it on something until the alcohol is coming out clear. Otherwise, you're going to ruin your marker. Let's try the Lyra Splendor blender over here, and we'll see if we can't get a pretty green. That looks nicer. Now I'm not expecting like a beautiful green because I picked, you know, random shades of yellow and blue, and that can have an impact on what your finished product looks like. I don't think I have any Gamsol left in this brush. Oh yes, I do. I'll do that right in the center. That's the Gamsol right in the center. Now after I've taken my other blending mediums to it, the Lyra Splendor blender, you can see where it's shiny. That's where the Splendor blender went. The middle part, where it looks kind of smeary, that was the Gamsol, and then the edge over here on that side is the Prismacolor Alcohol Colorless Blender. Well guys, oh, one more thing. We'll look at where we had our solvent. Still not particularly dry. I mean, that's going to take some time. So if you really look at it, when you compare it to these other colors, despite the fact that it's dull a little bit because it's still kind of soaking wet, it blended really nicely. I think Gamsol is going to be the go-to for these Lyra Rembrandt Polycolor pencils. I only have the set of 36, and I only ordered 36 because I didn't want to spend the money on a giant set if I wasn't going to like them. I got lucky, and I found this set online through a particular seller on Amazon, and I paid less than $20 for them. And that's a steal. That's a complete steal. That's just unheard of. Dick Blick does sell them. Like I said earlier in this review, Dick Blick does sell them open stock in every color. I think there was one color that they were out of and said that the restocking was indefinite, so they aren't 100% certain when they're going to get that particular color, one of the grays, back in stock. My local Dick Blick, which is in Evansville, Indiana, which is about an hour from me, does not carry them. Michael's or Hobby Lobby near me, and I have 2 Hobby Lobbies and a Michael's that are within an hour. None of those stores carry them, so I cannot purchase these pencils open stock in any of those stores near me. Then again, I'm not sure either of those stores carry the polychromos either. Now, I know that they all carry, my Hobby Lobby carries the Prismacolor Premiere and the Faber-Castell, are they called Aquarelle, the watercolor pencils, but they do not have the polychromos. So if you want open stock, you're not going to get it at Jerry's Artorama. They don't have it. Maybe I'll email them and see if I can talk them into maybe carrying some limited open stock for those of us who like these pencils. Maybe there's a reason why they don't sell them. I don't know. Dick Blick does. If you are interested in these Lyra Rembrandt Polycolor pencils, you can order your pencils from them. They're less than $2 a piece. And I have ordered some flesh tones and some purples and some pinks, and those should be on their way. That's all I got for you today, guys. I just wanted to take a look at these pencils. There aren't a whole lot of really good reviews on these, and I know this one's, you know, a little bit quick and unprofessional, but these are the things that should be important to you as an adult colorist. These are the things that you should want to see. What are these pencils? What do the colors look like? Do they fill in the tooth when you burnish? Do they erase nicely? How do they blend? What medium should you use to blend, or what solvent, or what should you use to blend them? And do they layer nicely? If I want to make a color, how hard is it going to be for me to get that color? These are the basic things that should really, really matter to you. As far as the physical appearance of the pencils, like I said, I had a couple tips broken off. I didn't sharpen these. I used them straight out of the box. I haven't taken a sharpener to them yet. None of them have broken on me. I didn't have to sharpen any. You know, I'm impressed. I'm impressed with the quality. I'm impressed with the colors that were in the box. They seem very bright. I'm impressed with the blending. The layering, I'm gonna have to just play around with different colors. I'm not gonna say, oh, the layering's terrible because this green isn't 100% green. But that's all I have. Guys, I'm going to do more reviews. I've got lots more pencils that I haven't reviewed that I plan to review in the future. I've got the Colorless set of 72, which is an inexpensive brand, relatively new one from what I understand. I have the Marco Raffines, the 72 set of those that I want to review. I have the Marco Renoir. I want to do an in-depth review on those. I have a 12 set of the Polychromos on the way. I do want to review those as well, especially with just the 12 set, so I can see for myself while I'm doing this with you guys if it's something that I want to invest more money in. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe. If you like this channel and you like these videos, hit that like button and hit the bell for yourself so you'll know when I upload something new. If you like this video, that helps it get out to more people. The more people who like this video, the more people who are going to see it when they type in Lyra review into YouTube or on Google. So please, please do that for me. I just want to thank you guys for watching. You're awesome as always, and I'll be back soon with some more content. Bye-bye.